Now to a Target 12 Investigators exclusive behind the signs.
You've probably seen these signs on state highways telling you if a project is on time and on budget. Green is good, yellow or red, it's behind schedule or over budget. Most signs statewide are boasting a green light.
But a Target 12 review of Department of Transportation data raises questions as to whether some of those signs are telling taxpayers the whole story.
Target 12 investigator Tim White is here now with his exclusive findings.
The Rhode Island Department of Transportation does deserve credit for a concerted effort to be more transparent, but the director admits the data used on some of these signs to determine if they should get a green, yellow, or red dot is incomplete. It's an in-your-face form of government transparency. Big blue signs posted at highway construction projects. It displays the price tag and a traffic light. Green touts on time or on budget. Yellow, it's 6 months behind schedule. And red is more than 6 months delayed or above budget.
It's all geared toward holding ourselves, our workers, and this department as a whole to a higher level, a higher standard, and more transparency.
A Target 12 review of Department of Transportation data shows some signs with a green light may be misleading. For example, the Oppanog Circulator in Warwick, $9 million in design costs and $30 million in other costs that weren't in the initial budget suddenly appear. That's almost $40 million above the initial budget, but the DOT claims it's under budget. The reason? The DOT says they can't find the original budget for design and other costs, so they simply leave them out of the equation. So it was tough to pin down initial costs.
It was not only tough, it was impossible in many cases to actually pin down.
Transportation Director Peter Alviti says those are so-called legacy projects, construction jobs they inherited from the previous DOT administration that he says used poor or non-existent accounting. So again, the legacy signs are your best guess.
So yeah, I mean, I can't look back, Tim, and say, would have, could have, should have back then. When we walked into a bloody mess with regard to project budget, schedules, and scopes.
Target 12 found a total of 6 major projects that tout a green light, but where the data is incomplete. They include the Central Avenue Bridge in Barrington and Great Island Bridge in Narragansett, as well as East Shore Expressway in East Providence. Why didn't you just avoid putting signs on legacy projects? Initially, because you're going to get more projects in the pipeline where you're using your data set,
yes,
where you're more confident with the numbers.
Yes.
Why not just hold off?
Because we're trying to be more transparent.
But you can't be.
Well, we're trying to be give as much information as the knowledge that we have of it.
Alviti says as the older projects wrap up and the ones under his administration come online, they will be more confident with the accounting.
We welcome the kind of questioning that you're asking here. In fact, think about this. Think about the questions you're able to sit here asking that you would have never been able to ask before.
There are about 110 of these signs statewide. The director says there'll be 200 up by December. But the largest active state project right now should have a sign with 2 red dots for being over budget, behind schedule, but you're not going to find it anywhere. We'll have that for you new at 6. With the Target 12 investigators, Tim White, Eyewitness News.
New details now in a Target 12 investigators exclusive behind the signs.
These signs sprinkled throughout the state are designed to inform you if a highway project is on time and on budget. But as we reported at 5, some of the signs are using data that may be misleading.
And new at 6, we found the largest active highway project in the state right now should have a sign with 2 glaring red dots.
But the state is yet to put it up. Target 12 investigator Tim White joins us now with the details.
Transportation officials tell me there are roughly 110 of these signs statewide, but there's one major project you likely drive on a lot that deserves 2 red dots for being behind schedule and over budget, but you're not going to find that sign anywhere. A Target 12 examination of DOT data finds at least 6 projects with signs that boast a green dot for projects that are on or under budget are using data that doesn't tell the whole story, raising questions about whether or not they should actually be showing red.
True or false, you will feel more confident about the numbers on the signs of the projects that you are starting.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
DOT Director Peter Alviti says those are projects his administration inherited and used poor or non-existent accounting.
The legacy signs are your best guess.
So, yeah, I mean, I can't look back, Tim, and say, would've, could've, should've back then.
But there is one project that, without question, is above budget and seriously delayed: the Route 95 viaduct. That's a major construction project replacing the bridge that carries Route 95 through the heart of Providence. Data Target 12 reviewed shows it's at least $4 million over budget and 14 months behind schedule.
Where's the sign on that one?
It's coming. You know, we've got 200 signs.
The sign started going up back in April. Alviti admits.
By the way, we probably should have put that one up first.
Why didn't you?
Well, because we assigned the sign-making process to the project managers. We're trying to do it within our own maintenance division.
You know, people will be listening to this will go, wow, the reason Director Alviti didn't do it is because it would have a red light on it.
No, please believe me. If I were trying to hide things, you'd see no signs out there. Okay?
Alviti says the Route 95 viaduct sign will be up by December.
Hey, you could criticize, why did you put these signs up before those? A lot of the signs that are going up are projects that were just starting under the new administration. And we wanted to shed a proper light on those right from the beginning, because we want our personnel to be held accountable for what's on those signs.
A spokesperson tells me these signs are all made in-house at the DOT and they cost about $135 a piece. And he says they can be updated quickly within days if a dot needs a color change. With the Target 12 investigators, Tim White, Eyewitness News.